Manjit, you start. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Salam, namaskar, and sat sri akal to all the panelists. On behalf of Seagull International and our managing director, yeah, and our managing director, Dr. Suresh Kumar Madhusudanan, I welcome all the panelists, and I'm proud to be today among the top management of the vertical. And it is really a proud moment. And thank you, all of you all, for taking out time from your busy schedule, and that too working on a Saturday and making the presence felt for the industry's one of a kind session for the SMEs, which is a small medium enterprises. Well, I would like to highlight that a pandemic situation, a COVID-19, like coronavirus, lockdown, etc. These are terms that we don't come across quite often, not even in decades, I would say. However, our current situation has brought us at a stage where these terms to be very normal and part of our lives, to be very honest. You would not believe, like, just a few months back, we were talking about lockdown 1.0, 2.0, now we are at the end of 4.0, and now we already started discussing about 5.0. So I would say that, like, due to this situation of coronavirus and the extension of lockdowns one after the other, the impact has been across the globe in various fields, I would say. And today, we will sit on this platform to discuss the impact, mainly on the SMEs. So when we talk about SMEs, I would say, like, what kind of impact so far it has been on this industry and what is in store for them. That is the main agenda of this forum. And which is why we have the team of expert panelists that I would say, right, we have sitting right now. And we will just discuss on this topic. And I would like to, like, invite our MD, Dr. Suresh Kumar Madhusudanan, to please take this forum ahead and introduce the panelists. Once again, my name is Manjeet Sura from Seagull International. Thank you so much for joining in. Dr. Suresh, over to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. It was indeed a pleasure to address you all on this webinar session. And as we all of know that actually this crisis, the whole world is gripping of the COVID pandemic, and the crisis is increasing day by day. Everybody is worried about their livelihood, fear about their job, business, and all. That is the reason we thought that actually every day we are listening a lot of negative news and all. And we thought that actually we should share some sort of a positive news to our SME sector people and other our clients and all. That is the basic reason of organizing such a webinar. And this economic crisis, because this is a worst ever economic crisis of our lifetime. Well, this is worse than the earlier crisis of 2006 and 2007, or it may be the recession of 1920 and the economic depression of 1930. And we have to overcome this crisis. And many industries have been affected by this crisis. And before we start, actually, we will have a small introduction about our organization, the Seagull. Yeah, Seagull is a 35-year-old global human resource consultant, and this organization with a 5-star rating by Ministry of External Affairs and rank among the top three overseas recruitment companies in India. Seagull is an ISO certified organization with many acclaims from the different trade bodies and all. We are approved by ADNOC Abu Dhabi, and we have been awarded as the best brand by CEO magazine last year. We have been awarded the best overseas recruitment consultant by Association continuously for 2 years, that is 2017 and 2018. And Seagull has been awarded as the best overall overseas recruitment and staffing organization of a year by Economic Times ET Now in the HR Talent Management Leadership Award function. And recently, in 2019 November, we have been awarded as the best overseas recruitment consultant by ET Now on the Global HR Excellence Award held in Mumbai in November 2020. We have around 350 to 400 clients across the world, and we have been rated among the top overseas recruitment company and as well as the domestic recruitment company in India. We have a corporate head office, corporate office at Mumbai, having branches in New Delhi, Cochin, and Chennai in India, and overseas in Nepal, Dubai, Riyadh, Kuwait, and Qatar. Yeah, this. Okay, coming to the industry part, which we were discussing about, that actually the worst affected in a few industries are the tourism and hospitality. We have panelists from the different wake field actually, and the tourism industry has been instrumental on giving maximum number of jobs, and this industry has been suffered a lot. And the next one is from the aviation and airlines industries. Aviation industry has got a loss of around 8,200 revenue loss during this lockdown period itself, and many airlines has been on the bankrupt. And the next one is an oil and gas sector. Oil and gas sector, basically the economy of GCC is based on the oil and gas. And whereas this, it's a double blow for the oil and gas sector in the Middle East and as well as in the West because of COVID as well as the price decrease in the oil. And this has affected a lot of Indians because around 9 million people are working in the Middle East sector, Middle East region, and many has lost the job, or many business people has been struggling to regain their business and all. And the real estate, building construction sector is the another one, and automobile is the another one. Then consumer products and consumer electronics, apparel and textiles, and financial services and all. As for the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, around 12 crores people will be losing their job. This is a very worst situation a mankind has been seen. And the backbone of the Indian economy is the agriculture and the SME sector. 60% of the GDP is based on these two sectors. And MSME sector employs around 110 million people and contributes around 30% of the Indian GDP. And MSME sector is struggling for the last many years, starting from the demonetization, GST, and then this COVID outbreak and all. This industry has been suffered a lot. And the stimulus of 20 lakhs crores, which was announced by the finance minister, mainly to boost the struggling industry. Let us analyze and with the panel of experts how it is going to benefit this industry. As I said, actually we have a panel of experts from the different wake of fields and all. And I would like to invite our first panelist, Dr. Mr. Dhiren Mehta. He is a Senate member of the Bombay University and a professor with Dalmia College in Mumbai with 35 years of experience. Welcome, Mr. Dhiren Mehta.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome all my panelists, and thank Manjesh Sura for giving me opportunity to be with good panelists and with this eagle. I would like to highlight that the topic is very current topic, disaster recovery strategies. Yes, Corona has gripped entire world. It's a global problem. So we have to really change. Okay? And yes, we all agree. Corona has thrown a lot of challenges, destruction, distortion. But I will believe that a good entrepreneur, a good businessman should find some silver lining, some good opportunity out of the challenges. Challenges are there. But if we sit on the challenges, if you go on crying, then nothing will happen. But government recently has announced a very sizable help. A lot of bounties have been given to small and micro industries, which I believe we should take the advantage. Especially the currently 3 lakhs crore are specially allotted for SMEs. So we should take the benefit of these all loans and whatever the facilities are available to even the Mudra loans. People should know have the knowledge of how to tackle and how to take the opportunity. Now, as I am the Senate member of Mumbai University, like, one very important issue which I think no panelist would know. Mumbai University had just recently entered into a contract with Government of Maharashtra. We have created MU Ideas, a limited company under Section 8 of the Companies Act, a non-profit organization company. I'm very proud to announce that we have a tie-up with IIT alumni who will help any entrepreneur, any newcomer, any promoter who wants to promote a good business, and university with our partners will help you in strategy planning, in making your project report. They will provide you. We have 50,000 square foot area have been allotted for this particular venture. And then cabins will be allotted to each and every entrepreneur, whoever wants to promote their business. And all the logistics support, the manpower support, drawing your finance support, every support will be given to any incoming person who is interested to start their own business. So, especially we want, and I'm very happy to announce that very soon, university along with entering to can you hear me, sir? IIT Bombay University, along with our government of Maharashtra, we are coming with a mega lab for COVID-19 testing, and I believe that we will be able to cover lakhs of people testing in coming days. So I would invite young entrepreneurs who has a challenges. See, now getting a job will be very difficult, as everybody will agree with me. Getting a job will be very tough time. So instead of job seeker, you become a job giver by starting any small industries wherein University of Mumbai will come forward to give you all. But we are thinking the challenge is in future. I think pharma will have a good opportunity, biotechnology, nanotechnology, anything relating to internet, because now the next generation, for example, school colleges are not going to open before September. So all online programs, you come with some good proposal, and I assure you on behalf of University of Mumbai that such young entrepreneur having some good promotional ideas, we will support at all the levels. And I'm sure one day the person who is seeking the job will be able to generate hundreds of jobs to the job seekers. I'm sure my suggestion and advice will be really beneficial to youngsters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dhiren Mehta, for the valuable output. And the next speaker is Mr. Muninder Singh. Mr. Muninder Singh is the Vice President, Advisory and Valuation Services with a leading MNC and work with developers, banks, corporates on project finance valuations, product feasibility, market assessment, etc. He had business development and projects executive for market research and research in Pan India. Welcome, Mr. Muninder Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh, for asking me to be part of this group over here and sharing my thoughts over it. And I would actually agree with Mr. Professor Mehta over here. See, for a very long time, and I come from the construction background, I've spent 15 years into this industry. And what we've seen is that the construction industry, which actually contributes a significant portion after agriculture to the GDP, has still not been able to grow in this market. And over the years, we have had a very slow progression in terms of growth, innovation, and even upscaling the skills of people that were involved in the entire business of developing a construction, real estate, or infrastructure. Whichever way you would want to put it. Now, this disruption is an opportunity that is provided to us in a way that we would be able to create indigenous opportunities, indigenous companies who would be able to give and take benefit of this situation. Yes, I agree with the government. They have given a lot of incentives. They have given a lot of loans where they're basically asking a lot of these MSMEs to basically gear up and start taking up the challenges. And when we say, and I totally agree with our Honorable Prime Minister when he say Atmanirbhar is the way to go. Yes, because this is exactly what China had done. China had significant effort put 20, 30 years back when they were basically looking at creating their own infrastructure, creating the entire mass of people who today are driving the economy of China. And today it is the time for India to rise and shine. If we talk about businesses, yes, businesses are contracting. But having said that, there are new opportunities which are coming up. In terms of consulting alone, where we are working, today the biggest challenge all the businesses are coming to us are asking for creating plan and contingencies in which a business continuity can happen. Now, this is something which is very critical to functions which are happening across. Just to give you a small example, in case of Indian ITES, especially the ITES, 60% of our business is driven by the business that comes from US and UK. Now, having disruptions over there in the US and UK markets, that has impacted the Indian software or at least IT-enabled services. But it has also opened up opportunities to service the Indian clients. And the company that we work with and what we've seen over the last 10 years, since 2008, I would say, there has been a growth in the Indian corporates. Indian corporates are getting more organized. Indian corporates are competing with global levels. Indian corporates are trying to expand into the other territories, other continents. And that is where the support of SMEs and the small, micro, medium industries becomes critical, because a large industry can only work till the time they have a strong base and support coming from the lower levels. And this is something that is going to drive the market going forward. So yes, this is a disruption, undoubtedly, but this disruption also presents us with opportunities. That is where I would basically be.
Thank you, Mr. Maninder Singh, for the overview of the SME sector and all. The next speaker is Mr. Jay Mehta. Jay Mehta is working with a leading bank as a relationship manager, and currently is managing the client of whom working capital limits are given for SMEs and all. Welcome, Mr. Jay Mehta.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Manji, for inviting me on this forum. Would just like to draw, given the fact that I've been working on the MSME space, just would like to highlight few points relating to the banking sector. Initially, MSMEs were used to doing banking in a very orthodox manner. They were basically following the old people visiting branches and all that. Now, slowly with this lockdown, people have been forced to use technology. And this is a big change in the way we are seeing how MSMEs are working currently. They are changing. So everything that we are doing is basically through technology. Technology investments through by the banks are increasing on a daily basis. We are all banks are coming out with new and new ways and innovations to basically help customers, helps MSMEs to, the way they do their banking, whether it's on the normal day-to-day banking transactions or on the trade bit, for importers and exporters. So that is a big change that we are seeing, that the MSMEs are doing. This pandemic, has basically impacted a lot of MSMEs. It's on the other side, it has basically given opportunities as well to a lot of MSMEs who were initially relying on, imports from China. You will have in the next couple of years, you will see a lot of, with the government push that we are seeing, Atmanirbhar schemes that the government is coming out with, you will see a lot of, companies will start manufacturing things that we are currently dependent on, companies globally, maybe it's China or Germany, Europe, anywhere. So, you will see a lot of investment coming in the manufacturing bit. What we had seen initially, when this lockdown started, a lot of banks, they had actually pulled back I would say, they had restricted additional credit being given to MSMEs, given the fact that they were fearing NPAs. Now that has been taken care to a large extent with the new government initiative of having a guaranteed, the government backing of guaranteed limits to MSMEs to the extent of 20% of their overall working capital finance. We see a lot of clients asking for that, and that will really help kickstart the economy, especially for the MSMEs. So, over and all, what I see is that in the next couple of years we'll see a lot of changes that the MSMEs will have to embrace, and they will move in the right direction of making India Atmanirbhar India.
Thank you, Mr. Jay Mehta. In fact, it was a very good presentation. As you said that actually the technology will play a crucial role. It's suggested that experts are saying that one robot will replace 3.3 jobs. It is estimated that around 240 million jobs will lose to the automation in China, and 120 million jobs will lose to automation in India. This is a very valid points which have been suggested. Our next panelist is Mr. Gaganjot Singh. Mr. Gaganjot Singh is he's working for Clay and Bricks as the MD and CEO. He has 15 years of entrepreneurial executive experience, including 10 years in leading premium retail leasing and investment service provider. And he has been awarded as the most preferred partners by A-grade mall developers and equity players, trusted relation with more than 400 retail brands, A-grade developer and investment pan-India. Welcome, Mr. Gaganjot Singh.
Mr. Gagan, we can't hear you. I think there's a mute button on. Mr. Gagan, request you please unmute your system. I think technical difficulty. You'll just joining in again, no problem.
If it is a problem, can we move to the next panelist?
Yes, sir, we can move ahead.
Okay, the next panelist, Mr. Arif Raza. Arif Raza is a rich experience of 12 years. He is the senior vice president of Maneuver, worked for Maduri Fashion, Lifestyle, Nike, PVR, Vedanta Fashion, skilled in consistently enhancing revenue and market share of year on year by reorganization, business direction, and developing and implementing strategic initiatives. Successfully turn around negative CBA stores into healthy CBA stores and enhanced the profitability through retail excellence and micro marketing in each geography, resulting into loss of making stores. Thank you, Mr. Arif Raza. Welcome to our webinar. Yes,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'll be talking about retail. I was hearing about various contribution of employment in GDP, but surprisingly, retail business is going to be $435 billion, and which is around 23% of India's GDP. Out of that, 93% is unorganized and 7% is organized. And luckily, organized retail was growing at around 18%. And overall, we expect it to grow by 29%. Another very, very important data point is that retail in India gives employment to around 5.6 crore people. And in some of the clusters, it's 45% of the employment. So you can understand the implications of COVID and how it has impacted employment and business overall. If you talk about retail, it's divided into cities and tier 2 and tier 3, and everybody from a small town to a big city is facing the same issues. There are multiple issues which retail is grappling with. One is on the demand side, which means the business is down to 25%, because lots of our stores are operational for last 1 month, and we can understand the sales. Marriages, parties, functions, and social interaction is going down. And to cope up with all this, we are trying to have appointments, online sales, and there will be lots of pent up demand. And as soon as the COVID issue is resolved, I think retail will reach at its peak. That's what we expect it to be. And second is the supply side disruption. Lots of small enterprises, small vendors, and manufacturers are going to be severely impacted. So supply side disruption is something which we'll have to look at, and we'll make sure that we kind of rationalize our stocks. Because I've been working in various companies like Madura, which owns brands like Louis Philippe, Van Heusen, Peter England, and Alan Solly. Then I moved to Nike, which is again a top brand internationally, and I have also worked for entertainment industry with PVR Limited. So everywhere, the business model requires a lean and mean inventory. So I think demand side is the problem. Supply side should be handled with lean, mean inventory. And like other panelists said, there are various loans and working capital available for small vendors and manufacturers. And we hope that our supply chain remains intact. Third, very, very important aspect of retail is operations. So when we talk about operational issues, there are multiple issues. First of all, in the period of COVID, there's staff movement issues. There are multiple zones, and the retail frontline staff uses public transport. So in spite of opening stores, we are facing problems getting people to the store. And also there are various costs. The top cost is staff cost, and then the rentals. So Gagan could not speak about retail before me, but rentals are almost 15 to 20% of any retail, any vanilla store. So we have been trying to renegotiate rentals, and we have been very successful with high streets and some of the malls. So you have to rationalize cost in terms of operations. And there are two types of stores, as we know. One is company-owned stores, and another is franchisee stores. So the crux of the problem is mainly at franchisee stores, where they have limited working capital, and they already were working on very thin margins. So they might be able to raise some working capital and try to hold on till COVID lasts. Also, we are trying to help them in various ways, and as a company. And in worst case scenarios, some will change hands, some will exit business and try to salvage whatever they can and hand over their business to others. So overall, we are geared up for next 6 months of COVID. And once this fear or some vaccine or a cure comes, I think retail is going to bounce back, and there will be lots of pent up demand for everything. So we know it's a temporary phase, and we are fighting for it. And as a retailer, I understand that our costs are very, very high. Our fixed costs are high, and we are trying to reduce the fixed costs.
Thank you, Mr. Arif. You are very optimistic about the industry, how it will be overcome from this, because after all, we are Indians, and we have faced so many such issues, and we will definitely overcome. That is the strength of our country. Thank you. And the next speaker is Mr. Reggie Philip. He is the managing director of Cosmos Travels, a leading travel agency in Mumbai, and one of the oldest. And he has been in the travel industry for the last 30 years, handling more than 300 nationals and multinational corporates, governments, and PSUs. Welcome, Mr. Reggie Philip.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Suresh, for arranging this platform to discuss the current situation. And first of all, I'm not taking much time for that. First of all, whatever the industry, especially the travel and tourism industry, is affected due to the COVID-19. I think one of the worst affected industry is travel and tourism, especially airlines and hotels and all that, because the market was just booming from March to June. It is a peak time. That is time only it is affected. And especially in the travel industry, we have maximum number of hotel booking packages and all is happening during the summer vacation. That is already on the way. That time it suddenly happened. And the bad part is that, that still, IATA is the platform of paying the money and all that we are paying through the IATA. They are not defer our payment schedule. Still, that in the peak time also, we forced to pay, even though there is no proper banking system and we are not unable to reach to the bank or any corporate. That time also they are not deferred. That is a bad thing. We are affected. I think so many small travel agencies wiped out. And as you know that majority of the people are connected with like homestays, hotels, packages, and the airline industry. Since the Jet Airways issue, the industry was almost bleeding that. And that is the time of it has happened that. And the other panel, we are all hopeful that, optimistic that, we'll overcome that. We'll overcome these all issues. We will, at least we'll have to live with the COVID for some time, but we'll have to keep a distance and all that. We'll have to take the model. Now, at present, I'm in Kerala. I can see that the Kerala model, they are doing very, very effectively. They are doing that. People are leaving that, identifying wherever there's problem, keeping the distance and all that. The government of Kerala and other institutions and NGOs, they are working very hardly. The same way we can implement other part of the, especially in the Bombay and other metro cities, we can do. And anyway, these issues we can slowly facing them. We are going along with the COVID, and we'll have to live. We'll have to get that on time, and we'll have to get it, overcome that this COVID issues. And first of all, the government support is Sutri suggested to have that. First of all, we'll have to main thing to overcome that. We'll have to give a free visa on arrival to most of the nations wherever the issue is not there. We'll have to give a visa on arrival. Then we can cover up this. There are a lot of hurdles for the Indian visa to get that. That if you lose a visa on arrival for at least for a 6 month or 1 year, then we get that the travel foreign tourist arrival we can expect more. Whatever we are doing the last this year, we can expect more tourists to India. The second thing, there is a tax soap for at least for the 2 years. The government, the tax soap should be there. And some countries, to set apart industry or any business, 2 years they can for a single window system and all that. This kind of thing we can more business and that we can more people will can come to the tourism industry and start the business and all. We can give the opportunity to those who are jobless. And also some of the this thing that wherever the tourism and industry is there, the local products we can use that through agriculture and the local production we can produce whatever they are producing locally, that we can use it for that. That also we can do that instead of depending on the other nations or anything. The local products that government is already implementing that. The third meeting, third presentation of the finance minister, they said local, wherever the local this thing is there, we can use that for the promotion of our local, especially for the agriculture and farmers there. And the other thing is for the ATF tax is a major issue for the airlines. The ATF taxes in India is 40% of the revenue is going for the ATF tax. That is the reason for the most of the airlines is facing that. The ATF tax for at least for the time being, I think I'll suggest for at least for 1 year, the ATF tax will be waiver. Then we can overcome that also. Airlines, more airlines to connect all the small cities and all to cover. The passenger can move here and there with a low fare and all that. But unless until you are not, ATF tax will not reduce. We cannot. The airline industry cannot overcome that. And also the government to involve that SMSCs to support more whatever they implement and the finance ministry, but it will not reaching the people. The SMSCs, it is not reaching. There are so many people will not understand also that. That is why it should reach the each and every SMSC directly. That is my suggestion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rajiv, for the detailed description about the travel and tourism industry. And this is one of the major industry has been affected a lot, and around 30,000 crores loss is going to be happening in the Indian hospitality industry itself. Around 50 lakhs job will be losing. That's what the surveys and status are saying. And aviation industry itself is around 8,200 revenue loss is expected. And many airlines has been bankrupt for recently. This is phenomenally a very bad sign for the struggling industry. And the positive thing is that actually the tourism, because the tourism may take little time, but India has regained a name in the world map that it's a safe and secure destination like Kerala, Goa, and certain other states, how they have been contained COVID and for an example, around 7,500 tourists were in Kerala, and they have been taken proper care and sent back to their destination countries properly. That has made a very good image for the tourists, because after all, the tourists will see for a better and safe and secure location. Thank you very much. And our next speaker is Mr. Harmohinder Singh, and he is the manager global sales for Parley Products. He has got 31 years of experience in sales, have worked earlier with office automation, apparel, building materials, and moved into FMCG in 1994. He was working with Parley since 1994. Was in domestic markets till 2011, and since then he's taking care of international sales and marketing through exports, and 8 factories spread over Asia, Africa, and North America. Welcome, Mr. Harmohinder Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh, and thank you all for sharing your fantastic views that you have been for different industries. See, if I see, overall, this COVID has definitely taken everybody by surprise, and everybody is struggling for it. But if I see personally, I think I'm a blessed working for a FMCG company, and that too essentials. I think, and we really feel proud that we have been able to serve the nation with our products. That is a good part of our thing, that in domestic we after a struggle we could really be kickstarting the things and were able to serve the nation. But we, as a company, we also suffered on the other part, which is like the exports part. We are still struggling because of the issues which become a very big one for migrant things. Manpower is a basic issue which has become these days. That is really affecting, and I'm sure government should be taking many steps to get that rolling. If we see the overall impact, I think, this is definitely a thing which everybody is struggling to get back to tracks. But if, the great brains, like that as a small group, if you see today, we are there to try and share our views. I think if great mind, across the country, irrespective of the political gains, also, I think if they can sit together, work it out, forgetting about the position which I am today. I think we as a company can really come out of, a country can really come out of it well. And India has shown that things earlier, and I think we are very much confident that if we work together in this situation as a country, we can really be out of this situation. I think what Mr. Professor Mehta shared about the initiatives that are being taken by them. I think these such initiatives are very well required at this time where people can become self-independent and can actually be in the market and be on their own. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harmovinder Singh, and for the ideas which you have been shared. And our next speaker is Mr. Gaganjot Singh. Is ready?
Yeah,
Mr. Gaganjot Singh,
yeah. I'm
please.
sorry earlier the connection got disconnected. So
Okay.
I'm talking about the real estate sector as
Audio is not proper. Error in audio.
There is some issue with the
Please
sound.
correct the audio.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He may repeat the story again, please.
Yeah. Because there is some issue with your sound. Can you repeat the
Now,
story?
now we can hear you.
Yeah, now we can hear you. Yeah.
Please carry on. Because I'm interested to know. Manjit, allow him to repeat.
Yeah, Mr. Gagan, you can just repeat your, shares your thought, and you can put off a video. I think the video may be a challenge. You can start with the audio first.
Maybe because of the internet issues.
Yeah.
am I audible now?
Yeah, now audio.
Yeah.
So the real estate sector, I'm going to talk about that, the impact of
Yeah, Mr. Gagan, you can say.
the real estate sector, the impact of pandemic. As we know, real estate sector is the second largest employer in India and contributes substantially towards the growth of India and the GDP growth. So the impact after this pandemic is also very bad and painful in this particular sector. Because this sector is driven by the customer and clients, so the sentiment of the clients and the customer, and they enter into a fear zone, is also impacting a lot. The sales are low, job loss, insecurity, people are thinking more, piling up of unsold inventory and lying inventory in the stocks of retailers is increasing in the cost of hiring more labor, and labor shortages will be there. Co-living and student housing is also going to impact because of the low occupancy cost. And more on that, the impact on the owners, which due to no sale, the retailers are not able to pay the rentals and premiums on time. Serving debt is also becoming a problem. Implementation of safety norms like social distancing is also coming very, very difficult for the mall developers to come. To overcome these impacts, as I personally feel that we have to come with the solution that the customer should come out of the fear zone to the positive thinking. Like fear itself create a fear, so let's start thinking positive by spending more on digital PR heavily on that, providing people to move out by providing them the videos which are towards the hygiene, towards the trial rooms are getting properly done. The shopping experience is going to be better for the residential developers. They are providing all kind of these safety norms to them, and communication will play a very big role in coming time because channel partners, internal and external customers need to be communicated properly. So builder and retailers are to become partners to come up with a win-win situation and solutions in the coming flexible leasing payment structures to keep quality tenants and things moving.
नहीं
Quick
मुझे
cash,
निकली गई।
quick short-term cash flow should be required from banking sectors, and the opportunity, like in the minimals, earlier it was lifestyle. Now the owning mindset is coming up. It will be an opportunity for the developers to target them. And more on that, it is time to do some collaborations. Like Maruti has done a collaboration with Cholamandalam. The sale is increased, and there are tailor-made plans provided to the consumer to pay on the payments. A developer is to actually rethink on resizing, ticketing, layout optimizing, like providing work from home solution kind of areas to take care of that. Labor is become like humanity is back low. Everybody is taking care of the labor. So the delays in the projects should not happen, because earlier the delays will killing, and there will be a lot of financial, financial issues will come up, and government should actually help on the moratorium on the interest payments. One-time loan restructurings are required, and quick funding should be provided. And GST deferment of the payments will be a great help to the retailers as well as to the consumers. I think employment should be taken care, because there I personally feel that the consumption is created by the middle order, mid-size, mid-class retailers and the consumers, because you have a demand, and the GDP will be only grow when the employment is intact. Let's think positive, and togetherly we make India better. And I think the government is doing good to make the cash flows available, so the short-term working capitals to be available to all the sectors, that the things should start moving. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gaganjot Singh. What you said, that actually together we can make India better, because the strength of our country is our 135.26 crores of population. Out of that, 65% is on the working class, and 65% is below 35 years of age, and 25% is below 50 years of age. This itself is the strength of the country, and we are the youngest country in the world, with an average age of 29 years, comparatively 48 of Japan and 37 of China. This will be a leverage for the country to overcome this pandemic. And as you said, that actually the luxurious homes demand may come down, but the necessity, as a necessity, small homes, this thing can be a very good chances are there. And everybody is asking that the GST deferment, because the entire SME sector is asking for a GST deferment. That is the only solution. And the borrowing rate and the lending rates of banks and all has to be, because government has taken a lot of steps to curb the situation. But let's see that actually what is going to happen. And we have one Mr. Lau Sarin was supposed to attend this webinar due to some personal official assignment in IIT Mumbai. He may not be able to join, and he sent a video presenting all the SMA sectors issues and all. Mr. Lau Sarin is he's a BTech in chemical engineering from IIT Mumbai and holds PhD from Brown University, and he heads the program of early stage entrepreneurs offered at Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurs at IIT Mumbai. And he has 4 US patent and won grants from VentureWell, National Science Foundation USA, and State of Rhode Island, and taught entrepreneurship programs for TAE Boston. He's an AX Reliance Industries. Mr. Manchit, you can able to play that video.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry that due to some persistent connectivity issues, I will not be able to join you guys live, but I thank Seagull International for organizing a
Anand, could you please check?
in these times. And thanks to Dr. Suresh Kumar Madhusudan and Mr. Manjeet Sura for giving us the platform to talk and discuss on this topic. Thanks for inviting me. Even though I cannot be there I wanted to share some learnings from my experience with the early stage startups who are building an idea into a business. In today's environment, to sustain as a business, same principles apply. The companies need to be agile. And I would urge you all to feel free to go back to the drawing board or your strategy notebook and do it often. It is not an yearly exercise anymore. The world and situation is changing every week. Listen to the customers. Be open to ideas on what could be done as a business. Let innovation in through all means and by involving all your employees at all levels. Agility and speed. These are the two things that are going to be important. Agility and speed of execution to test and build an idea is what will govern the success of an enterprise in these times. Moreover, look at this problem as a problem which affects all, and we need to come together in these times. If all of us contribute together to a few basics: one, controlling the spread of COVID-19; two, fulfilling the basic needs of the population, food, essentials, supply chain; and three, enhancing the healthcare ecosystem to be able to serve people for non-COVID and COVID-related needs in a very timely manner to enable a normal way of life and reduce the panic which may prevent people from returning to a normal way of life. These three will help us speed up the recovery. And it is in everyone's best interest to contribute towards that. If we fail on these counts, we will be collectively responsible for the slow pickup of the economy. On the other hand, coming together, we can get all of us back on track much faster. Moreover, apart from a collective effort, there is an opportunity for innovation and new business models in these areas. So look around, see the problems that you see as an opportunity to do something new, to solve something new, to serve something new, someone new, and innovate. I think if we take that attitude, we all can reduce, all can minimize the bad effects of the slowdown, the lockdown, etc. And we will all come together at the end of it successful and more resilient to these things. So with that, I thank you all once again and hope that you all have a very nice and fruitful discussion on the topic. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lausaran, for the wonderful presentation. Now we'll go to the Q&A session. We have many questions, and I will. The first question, which is for Mr. Arif Reza. The question is: today's scenario when retailers are cutting stores and manpower, being an India's leading ethnic wear company, what is the strategy for Manyavar? It's a question from Mr. Manish Singh.
Yeah, hi Manish. I hope you heard when I spoke earlier. We are very, very optimistic about things, and we see this as a temporary problem for a 6 months to year, 1 year horizon. And Manyavar is anyways a need-based, product, and it is used for functions, marriages, festivals. And we know India, there are just 2-3 things which happens in terms of socializing. One is marriage, and we are very confident that we'll bounce back. So currently, our strategy is to somehow manage this 1 year period and then continue to grow. And we are very confident that the sales will be back, even though, like I said, there are various challenges for 1 year, which are operational, demand, and supply side. But we are very hopeful that we'll be able to bounce back and we are going to survive. there is a bit of pain, and we are looking at store level profitability so that our chain of stores remains healthy. And we might, in very few cases, shut down, or if the negotiations fails, move on and find another location. But overall, we'll try to keep our chain size healthy and as close as possible to the current size.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Arif. The next question is to Mr. Jay Mehta. What can be done by us to make ourselves ready for launching post-COVID business environment? We must create action list for the same. By Mr. Chandra Nene.
Can you please repeat the question? I didn't. There's an issue.
Yeah, what can be done by us to make ourselves ready for launching the post-COVID business environment? We must create action list for the same. Hope you heard properly. Shall I repeat the question? Jay Mehta?
I think, sir, he got disconnected.
Oh, he got disconnected. Okay.
No, I can hear you now.
Yeah, you can hear. Okay, I will read the question again. What can be done us to make ourselves ready for launching post-COVID business environment? What must create action is for the same?
Okay, so the most important thing to restart a business is capital, right? The first and foremost thing to restart a business would be to have cash in hand. Okay, government has launched initiatives to basically give more loans, but our suggestion would be that from a conservative side also, the promoters should introduce their own funds in the business. They should avoid having a extremely leveraged balance sheet. So the first and foremost thing is to basically get in capital, get in funds, and then evaluate opportunities where those funds can be deployed, because the funds which are stuck are not going to come. The funds which are stuck with the debtors will take some time to realize, because the same pain that the companies themselves are going through are their customers are also going through the same thing. So you will have to introduce capital.
Thank you, Mr. Jay Mehta. The next question is to Professor Dhiren Mehta. Cumbersome regulatory procedure is one of the challenges for SMEs in the current situation. How they can be minimized? Next question is, can we explore for faceless single window in this regard? Mr. Dhiren Mehta. Your voice is not audible, sir. Your voice is mute. Please unmute your mic. Oh. Okay, we'll go to the next question. This is for Mr. Gaganjot Singh.
Hi.
Okay, loss of job, loss of rent, both will affect the liquidity of a common man. This reality is contradicting the optimism shown with respect to retail market, isn't it?
Is it true? Because the consumption is derived from the middle class. If the middle class is not coming and buying it, the overall scenario will be little bad, because the GDP of the country is also grown from them, and the consumption is also derived from them. If there is no shopping experience, that shopping is only going to be on the necessity based and need based. So the shopping, if you are left with only insecurity and you have to only think about that, today what is there with me, I have to spend that only for myself as a life security thing rather than on the lifestyle. This will be a major impact on the coming scenario for any kind of a buying experience.
Okay, thank you. Can we ask Mr. Professor Dhiren Mehta is available now?
Anand, if you can please check quickly. Mr. Anand? No, sir, I think he's not able to connect.
Okay, the next question is for Mr. Reggie Philip. And what do you think that actually when this crisis can overcome as far as the tourism or aviation industry due to this safe distancing and all now? Your mic is mute. Unmute the mic, Reggie. Reggie, please unmute the mic. Yeah. No, his mic is still it is not audible. No.
Hello?
Yeah. Now it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. See, the already that our domestic flight is partially started without with this thing with the social distance and all, with the proper situation and all. I think by September it will be normal. By September it will be normal. We're going to start the international flight and all. Not in the full swing, but in the 50% of the flight, international also will operate. By November, we expect that that it will be normal by end of November.
Okay, the next question is for Mr. Muninder Singh. And it's a lot of MNCs are shifting their manufacturing.
Hello.
I think he's got disconnected.
I think so.
Okay, no problem. Mr. Muninder Pal Singh, we can continue. I'm not sure what question he had.
Because the question, I will repeat the question, because many manufacturing hubs are being shifting from China to other countries. And what is the benefit is going to get India?
See, that's a very interesting and a very pertinent question right now. See, as a company, we are working with a lot of government industrial agencies also, and we are advising them how to create policies and also create sub-level sectors in which they can attract Chinese or other companies which are moving away from China. Now, a very interesting thing that we've seen is in the last, and this is something which is available in the newspapers also, in last 2, or rather I would say last 3 months, including May, there are 58 companies which are US companies which have actually moved out of China, and they're basically shifting their manufacturing plants. Now, of those, close to 27 have already committed MOUs with various state bodies, and they are already in processes of taking land positions and setting up their plants. Now, what we would be saying is that so this would help a big way, because we are looking forward to technology transfer. We are looking forward to creation of new avenues for jobs, and we are also looking forward to development of newer areas, because the new developments that we are looking at, as and when we are talking to the development agencies, which is the infrastructure and industrial development bodies, most of these government state bodies are looking at creation of new industrial estates. They are not looking forward to concentrate the manufacturing industries in areas like Daruheda, which is very close to, or Alwar, which is very close to NCR, or for that matter to SIDCO sites. Now they are looking at newer areas. So what it will do is create new urbanization spaces also. But the big challenge that we envisage, and which is very critical, is providing the relevant skill set manpower. Now, that is where I said that this upskilling of the manpower is critical in this time, and this disruption is an opportunity for that. Yes, from the 58 companies, if we are able to expect 27 companies to land into India, we can expect many more such things to happen. Apple, which has already stated they are looking forward to create 1/5 of their production for exports to be coming from India. Now, that is again a positive sign. But the only thing is, are we ready for the challenge from the academic and the manpower perspective? That is something that we have to look into.
Okay, the next question is for, in fact, it is for Mr. Reggie Philip. what COVID teaches and F&B industry have you got new learning experience? Maybe he can you able to answer this question? F&B industry. What COVID teaches F&B industry have you got any new learning experience? I think nobody's from the F&B industry is. In case if anybody can able to answer, I think Manjit can able to give you the answer. Huh?
I wish so, but the thing is that I've not been in touch with this industry for quite some time. It's been like almost 16 years. So
Okay. Yeah. So, Mr. Suresh, if I may try to just intervene over here, so what we have been interacting, and I'm very sure Arif and Gaganjot are also interacting with retailers and F&B players. What we are witnessing right now is so areas which earlier were used to be the hotspots, where used to be a lot of cluster approach. Now that is getting declustered, at least till the time we envisage a vaccine or some kind of cure where we are able to create a shield for people around to operate. Till the time that does not happen, what we envisage is the F&B is going to open up, but then there are going to be basically limited packs. The spacing is going to increase. And if we speak, as we speak, actually a lot of restaurant operators especially have already started curating their spaces in such a way that the social distancing is maintained. And specifically on order or on, so you basically, apps like Dine Out would actually help you book your table, go for a specific time and move out. So rather than crowding the space, is actually going to be a little more spaced out right now. The experience is going to be like that. And I'm very sure people are watching news. Spain has already opened up their clubs, but again, screening process is very tough, and there are limited number of packs that are allowed to enter into F&B. So yes, F&B is going to for a change. Rather than going for a crowding, it's going to be a more spread out space that we'll be talking.
Thank you, Mr. Maninder. Again, a question for you. Yeah. Along with capital, we also need the skilled manpower back. If this have left, also we need to train new persons and can use this for time for the same. Can we use the skilled manpower for the time? The question is like that. Actually, let me read again. Along with the capital, we also need the skilled manpower.
Absolutely.
If they have left, also we need to train this person. Can we use this time for the same?
Absolutely, and I would actually appreciate a lot of our people who have. So this COVID has actually made a lot of things simpler. A lot of people have actually started getting into the internet for whatever purposes that they are going to. But it has also taught them how to interact on the online medium. So today, if you go to various websites, various of these online portals, they are actually offering courses which are helping you upskill the already skills that you have, and they are providing courses which are going to be more technology led. So I think this is a good time to invest in upskilling yourself, and it would definitely pay in the medium to long run.
Okay, as you said that actually upskilling, because if India can do in a better way, India can be the skilling capital of the world. As I said earlier, that the population of India, 65% is on the working class. If it has been trained properly, India can become the skilling capital of the world, and this is the asset of the country. And we can, as you said earlier, that actually many companies are shifting their manufacturing unit to various countries, and India can also get the benefit. I heard that actually India is making a land pool of around 461,000 hectare land for accommodating certain industries like electrical, electronics, pharmaceutical, medical devices, heavy engineering, solar equipment, food processing, and chemical, textiles, etc. If we can able to use this opportunity, because China is also their economy is shrinking, and 24% of the global manufacturing is in China. In case if we can able to shift at least 10% also, it will be a big boost for the country. Okay, we'll move to the next question. This is Mr. Jay Mehta again. Mr. Jay Mehta is available? Is Mr. Jay Mehta there?
No, sir, he's not. No.
Okay, then I will ask this question to Mr. Maninder Singh again. And when we talk of post-COVID time, we are taking about timeline to further 8 to 10 months. We will have to manage to survey till then. But once we... Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, Mr. Maninda, I will repeat the question. When we talk post-COVID time, we are talking about timeline to further 8 to 10 months. We will have to manage to survive till then. But once we overcome this phase, we will face considerable cash crunch by then. How much debt can anyone leverage to improve your working capital as a percentage of the yearly turnover? We are mainly supplier in-flight catering products to airline industry. Don't you think we might all fall into debt?
I would request Mr. Jay is already there to help us with this one.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I will reply to
Okay,
that. So
Mr. Jay,
basically, as I mentioned earlier also, that the first thing that promoters will have to do is basically bring in capital. The reason why I mentioned that is to avoid the situation of falling into a debt trap. I agree that we may face we will have many companies who will be facing a lot of issues on the on basically raising capital, and that's something that each business will have to figure out. There is no particular formula to specifically answer your question as to how much of the percentage of debt that you should have as your of the turnover. See, debt is also, it's just not reflecting on the way on your turnover. It also is a calculation is also required on the amount of profit that you generate, the cash flows that you generate. So that has to be taken into consideration before taking any debt. So we as bankers, we calculate we on a maximum size on the maximum size we allow generally companies to have 50% of debt of the turnover. That's the highest that you should have. And on the profitability side, we calculate something called as a debt to EBITDA ratio. So maximum that should be 6 times. So it should not exceed 6 times of your profits. So that's the cash flow front. You also need to check that. So my suggestion is that avoid a situation of debt trap. Try and raise capital. In 8 to 10 months' time, if the situation, your cash flows, the capital cycle should help generate sufficient cash flow.
Okay, the next question. You're online, Mr. Mehta. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, and we will come back with the question. One more question is for Mr. Gaganjot Singh. The question is, considering the current retail market, there will lot of inventory available as lot of brands will be out of market due to financial issue. If we follow demand and supply concept, then there should be a huge fall in range. My question is to Gagan, is any brand is ready to grab this opportunity?
Yes.
And what is his strategy to support retailers in the market?
I like to answer this question. Yes, it is clear. I will like to answer on this.
Okay.
I would rather say that the retailers should start thinking about today's scenario. If they start thinking about what will be the future, it will jeopardize the entire growth scenario for everybody. Because if they are to think about today because of the need, today is what is the need of the consumer that you are to provide it. Like I want to give the example, like many like players like Maneuver also or Blackberries of the world, they are doing all fashion related things, but giving a mask with that is giving one of the thing to bringing back the customer. Second, if you say that inventory is available, yes, inventory is available because from last 3 to 6 months nothing is moved. There is this winter season garment is also available now, summer is also available. You should immediately go and liquidate online with discounts, and also try to, which will provide you the short-term cash capital to run the things better. And online will give you low on your rental thing because your margins will be little better on that. I will also rather say that try to do a tie-up in 2-tier, 3-tier cities with the local retailers to provide more margin to them so they can sell these your inventory to the end user and create your market base in those 2-tier and 3-tier cities.
Thank you, Mr. Singh.
I like to add one more thing. In high streets also, the locations which brands are leaving, FMB players want to grab it because the low infrastructure cost and operating costs are quite low comparatively to the malls, because malls will take little more time to start up, and also on the crowd planning there will be 50% of the only occupancy will be available to run the show.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gaganjot Singh. And Mr. Dhiren Mehta, the question for you is, what are the immediate recovery strategies should be implemented in SME sector on top priority?
Already government has pumped in a lot of liquidity.
Okay.
So SME sector should take immediate benefit of it, because I believe certain norms will be definitely formulated by all the banks to whom this money should be properly given. But even my one more question I will answer, that the regulatory body should be liberal. Instead of being stringent policy, they should come out with some liberal policy, so that if any new entrepreneur entering into the venture, their time there should be very less time, gestation time to getting your project clear should be minimized, so that they can start their project very soon and they start earning income also very soon. So my suggestion to all the regulatory bodies to minimize the legal requirements, procedural, so that can be really ease of doing the business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, what you said, that actually the regulatory norms is the biggest threat for the industry, because the red tapeism and the tax terrorism and the people, the entrepreneurs has to go to the government offices and run around and wasting their time rather than dedicating their time for the business and all. This has to be taken care by
one window only.
Yeah.
It should be one window policy.
That is a good suggestion, Mr. Mehta. And the next question is to Mr. Rajiv Philip. And due to this security and safety measures and social distancing, and is the chances of increasing the airfares in future?
At present, for the next 6 months, there won't be much increase in the air passenger. In that. Airlines, government is already given a seal, the ceiling for the ticket fare. But, if my suggestion is earlier, I told that ATF tax will reduce. In that, we can give the normal fare can continue, because the people will, if the fare will increase, the people will be away from they will use the other mode of transport. In that case, I don't think at present they are not. Most of the airlines is. Staff strength and all that, cost cutting and all that. For that reason, at present, there won't be any sudden increase in the airfare. I'm not.
Okay, Raji, thank you very much. And we almost concluded the Q&A session, and we can hope we can. Anybody want to talk anything else apart from this?
Can I ask for Mr. Mehta? Professor Mehta, this that we said through the IIT alignment and university, we are going to do some for the SMSDs. How we can reach you? How it's easy to do that with the minimum capital and all.
You can contact any top authority, even Vice Chancellor, Mr. Pednekar. You can give my name. Professor Mehta, number is requested. He will give a full guidance. Still, the university is not being opened, but our agreement has been already made with the IIT. So any information after opening of the university, you can take my telephone number to Manjeet. I will definitely help you out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is anybody want to discuss
Thank
anything
you,
more?
No, it was very informative seminar, and the audience will definitely get the benefit.
Thank you, Mr. Mehta. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then we will conclude. Shall we conclude?
Mr.
Yeah,
Mohinder Singh,
please.
would you like to add anything, sir? Because you were disconnected in between.
No, I mean, it was really good to be part of this. And I mean, I think though this problem seems to be good, but I think the sort of minds that we have and certain suggestions have come up, and people are definitely scared of it. But I think we have to come out of it. It's been a new normal. And if the support anybody can give to anyone, that would be the best mantra for out there. And thank you for organizing such a good seminar. I mean, it's really informative one. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Sir, I think we have few questions coming in if that's okay.
Okay, no, there is no questions now because questions are there actually, but relevant is less. That's the reason thought of. Okay, we will conclude. It was indeed a nice session exhibiting your knowledge and experience, and it was beneficial for every one of us. Let us pray and hope to overcome this pandemic soon and see that after the World War II, everyone has been returned of Japan and Europe, and they have become the powerhouse after 15 years. And hope that actually India can become a powerhouse very soon, and hope for the best. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time and participating in this webinar, including the panelists, participant. Thank you very much. And on behalf of Seagull Group of Companies, I express my sincere gratitude for you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Everyone, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manjeet. See you again sometime.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arif, Mr. Maninder, Mr. Gagan Singh, Mr. Mehta, Mr. Mohinder. Thank you very much. It was indeed very pleasure meeting you all. Let us hope to meet personally in future.
Sure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manjit, for organizing all this thing, taking
Thank you
pain
so
and
Yeah, welcome, sir. It was my pleasure. Thank you.